Greetings, you fine folks. I hope you're all out there doing your thing. Less of the bad, more of the good, that old chestnut. We call it the pursuit of greatness around these parts. So congratulations to me and everybody that helped me get here. I've been at this over a year this month, and I want to give a shout out to first all you listeners out there, and then also a first of its kind to another podcast. These guys are out there doing awesome things. The Tipsy Travelers podcast with hosts Bailey and Haley, yes, you heard that right, have an awesome and hilarious cast about traveling stories, mostly from the perspective of Uber drivers and sometimes from the Uber riders, as well as plenty of other traveling tales that are all true. Check these guys out. They're on episode number 4 and growing. They're at tipsytravelerspodcast.com, where you can submit your own outlandish travel tales. And of course, you can find them on iTunes, and I would imagine anywhere else that you can get podcasts under the same name. Cheers, you guys, and keep it up. All right, today's guest is a diverse artist and entrepreneur working in the rap game since he was a teenager, originally from Queens, New York, and currently running his own barbershop in Florida while producing, mixing, and playing live shows with his intuitive hip-hop he calls conscious rap, which it is exactly that. I'm talking about Mr. Loe Vale. We talk about his story, his motivation, health, and family, and what it takes to pursue greatness in our modern hip-hop era. The man is genuine, his bars are clean, and they're fast as hell. His latest album, Glasshouse, is out in all places you get music, including iTunes and Spotify. It's a gritty and fiery album about his trials and tribulations through his eyes. Loe also did the 2018 official World Cup song, which you can find on his YouTubes. Just search for Loe Vale, Loe-Vale, and his Instagram handle at @LoeIsLike. Lewis hooked us up with a new jam he's putting out on a future project, which we put in the podcast itself. So listen for that. It's badass. Thank you, Loe, for coming on, brother. And thank you guys for listening. As always, you can find everything we're doing at aperturebirds.com and our Instagram at instagram.com/aperturebirdsmedia. Love you guys. Keep your head up, spread the love, and keep pursuing greatness. Cheers. Hey, welcome to Aperture Birds podcast. I got Mr. Loe Vale, aka, I guess it'd be Lewis, aka Loe Vale. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good, and you?
I'm doing good, man. Doing good over here in sunny New Mexico. It's a beautiful day. Where are you coming from? I saw that you were from Queens, New York. You're based out of Queens, but where are you living at?
No, yeah. So I'm born and raised in. I was born and raised in Queens, New York, but now I live in Florida, in West Palm Beach.
Nice. How's the weather out there?
It's humid. It's hot.
Is it?
Yeah. I don't like it that much, but thank you guys for having me, man. I really appreciate your time,
Yeah, for sure, man. Well, I mean, the theme of the podcast is people pursuing greatness, man. And I mean, you guys reached out to me, but once I delved into what it is that you know, you kind of your story, like your come up and the stuff that you do now. Correct me if I'm wrong, but essentially you make music. You're a hip hop artist. You're a Christian hip hop artist, which is, to me, that's a rare thing to see somebody that's successful and be talented as well, and also be mainstream in, something where you're kind of put into that box of Christian rapper. How did you get from where you were growing up to the point where you said, I want to be a Christian rapper? Or is that something that just naturally came from, like your faith and your environment?
Yeah, I mean, I'm actually not a Christian rapper, but I am a Christian. I am a believer, and I rap. It's a different thing. It's actually the way it happened was when I moved to South Florida, I met some people when I started going to church. I never grew up in church. I never grew up in the faith, anything like that. But there was a point in my life where I was going through a very dark season, and I felt the need of purpose. I felt like my life was going nowhere. And so something, just that calling, that tug in my heart just came out of nowhere. And so I had this idea, maybe I should go to church. So I started going to church, and I met the Lord. I found my faith, and my life started changing. And then I met people in the church. Yeah. I met some people that I could relate to. People that look like me. That come from the same similar background. And these people happen to be Christian rappers. You know, they're in the Christian community, Christian hip hop community. You know, and so I started networking with them. I started building with them. Prior to that, I was already doing hip hop, but I like to label it conscious hip hop. You know, because my message is always, you know, just to be able to express myself, and I don't like bragging about things I don't have. You know, so you'll never hear me talking in a song about, you know, I'm making it rain on these hoes, and you know, I don't brag about things I don't do. So I don't like that. You know, I like to be transparent and real. So it was always conscious hip hop, but when I was obviously building with this crowd, it turned into, you know what, I want to do music that reflects my faith and reflects my belief. You know, and so I did a few projects that were centered in on my belief. You know. But it doesn't put me in. I never put myself in that category of like I am a Christian
in a box. Yeah.
So I mean, and I stand by what I believe. You know, I'm not ashamed of it. Anybody ask me, I'm a Christian and I rap. You know, it's like you talk to Rakim. If you're familiar with Rakim, the God MC, you know, he's a Muslim. You know, and he shares that, but nobody calls him a Muslim rapper. You know?
No. And I want to preface that, man. Like, I didn't know that, because, you know, like, I look you up on YouTube or anywhere like that, and it literally is like Christian rapper. You know what I mean? So I was, you know, and I thought that you guys directed the marketing that way. So that wasn't necessarily, you know, I just, you know, and here we are figuring these things out.
No, of course. And that's the thing, you know, because when I started my music career, it started then in that season, you know?
Okay.
So the projects that were coming out were directed in that community, in that subject.
Okay.
And so, but nobody ever listened to the prior records, to the prior projects, you know, where it was just conscious hip hop, where it was just me flowing, where I was just snapping on beats, you know?
Yeah.
So now I'm dabbling back into, you know what, I want to broaden my marketing, because I don't want to just cater to one group of people. You know, I want everybody to hear me. So I don't want to put in a stamp like this is what I do. Like, no, I rap, and my belief is my belief. But listen to what I'm saying. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Right. Listen to the lyrics. I mean, that's what a true hip hop artist is, man. Is the message that you guys are bringing, the actual bars that you bring up, man. Because I mean, your talent is ridiculous, bro. Like, you're fast. Everything works. I mean, it almost seems like you're freestyling some of that, but it just comes across like legit, man. Like I've seen some variations of stuff that you had done, like your video with was it Young Vale, right? Or no, yeah, Young Low. Sorry.
Young Low, yeah.
Dude, that's fire, bro. That video's fire as hell.
I appreciate it.
So and you coming up with these lyrics, I mean, do you keep that in the back of your mind? Like, you're trying to think that, you know, like if you know, granted, like you said, that you're not living the lifestyle to where you're trying to talk about, you know, throwing dollar bills on the hose and all that.
Yeah.
But in the same breath, are you still trying to like be more conscious? Like, hey, there might be kids that are listening to this that are like in, you know, like maybe like a youth group or something like that. Is that something you have in the back of your mind when you're writing lyrics?
Of course, absolutely. And you see, the thing is this, man, that hip hop artists, man, we have a platform to make a difference. We have a platform to be examples, you know, and I feel like the business side of it, you know how sex sells, you know, they've made it to where, like, yo, don't worry about anything, just make money. It doesn't matter what you say, what you look like, deprive yourself, you know, just lose all your dignity and make money. Who cares? As long as you pay. And
throw yourself at the machine.
Exactly. And that's what hip hop has become now. You know, that's the image that when you think of hip hop, that's what you think about, you know, people that are looking crazy. They're always in the club, and strippers and jewelry and stuff like that. And it's like, hip hop was created for us to escape police brutality, for us to escape the segregation that was going on back in that time when hip hop was created. It was a way of people to like get away from everyday stress and enjoy themselves and express themselves. You know what I mean? With breakdancing, with beatboxing, with MCing, with DJing, with graffiti, like the elements of hip hop. You know, it's just going back to the base, to the culture. You know, and we got so far away from that, but it was always about putting out a positive message. Like, yo, you don't have to live that way. You know, there's another way to live. You go back and listen to Run DMC. He's talking about him going to college, and he made it sound cool. You know,
right? He
made it sound cool to go to college. Nowadays, if you're talking about going to college, they look at you like you're a nerd. Like
you're a goofball. Yeah.
You know? So, absolutely. I'm very or where, like, I try to be conscious of what I'm going to say, because again, I have a mom, I have a wife, God willing, I have a daughter, I have a sister. And so I wouldn't want to defame any woman, anything that has to be, to make a woman look anything less than what they are. Beautiful. You understand what I'm saying?
Oh, that's 100%, man. I love to hear you say that, because that's inspiration for anybody trying to come up in hip hop. Those, even if it's anybody that just picks you up and they're trying to learn the game. A lot of times I think their mentors are not necessarily the best mentors. And then in the same breath, there's also like dumb shit like the mumble rap movement, if you will.
Yeah, that's one of those things that it works. I want to say it worked because it won't last. Anything that comes up that easy will leave just as fast. We're not going to see no more mumble rap within the next 3 to 5 years. I guarantee that.
Right.
Because one thing is for sure is that if you can rap, then you will last. If you can rap, then you will last.
Right.
If you can't rap, you will be forgotten. That's just the way it is.
I know that in your bio, you guys had mentioned the one that you'd sent me. You guys were talking about Kendrick Lamar being kind of like one of your influencers, and I feel like, as much as I'm by no means in hip hop, not even a tenth of what you are, as an artist, as somebody that's come up listening to it, and then somebody that's had success and probably worked with peers that are on that level. But I feel like Kendrick Lamar is one of those few artists that is actually trying to use his platform, like you were saying, to kind of spread like a more positive message and to kind of bring some enlightenment. When you come up with like, your phone or wherever you're listening to music, you're at the gym, you're cruising around doing whatever, who are some artists that you're listening to that you feel are the complete opposite of whatever's new and like mumble rap kind of stuff? Like who are you on right now?
I definitely listen to J. Cole a lot.
Okay. Yeah, I love J. Cole, man.
Yeah, he's definitely on top of the list for today. And then he got a few artists that he signed to his label, Dreamville, Kaz and Boz. I listen to those two a lot. Aside from that, I listen to some J. Cole. There's this new it's new to me, but it's called Selection Radio. Are you familiar with them?
No.
Selection Radio. So they play a lot of just like very smooth, that soulful jazz, hip hop feel. So that sometimes they mix, and put lyrics from one song on another beat, and they do some pretty cool stuff. So I listen to a lot of that stuff, man.
That's cool. And then when you're putting this music together, are you looking for producers that are kind of in your same line? I mean, or do you produce your own stuff? Who does the actual, behind the scenes, the tweaking of the knobs and the stuff? I see you're kind of like in a studio there. Is that where you record?
No, that was a photo shoot, but this right here? Yeah, this is my studio. This is where I'm set up at. I'll show you around a little bit. It's a mess right now, but so I got some stuff right here.
Oh, damn, man. That's a setup.
That's my mic, and that's the monitor, and I got another PC right here. Okay. I got my keyboards down here. You see, so some vinyls.
Yeah, and for you that are just listening, this dude's got a completely decked out studio, and this is at your house, right? This is your pad?
Yeah, it is my room right here, the office.
Badass, man.
Thank you.
So how often are you in there putting down music? Are you recording like every day, trying to put out some new stuff, or it's just whenever the thing hits you?
I wish, man. I set up every Tuesday to record, and I meet up with my engineer. He comes over my house, and we just get to creating. We get to cooking up some stuff. Sometimes it's projects that we might have in mind, or sometimes it's just spontaneous. But for the most part, every day I'm writing, I'm listening to new music. But I can't record every day. I wish, but I'm a business owner. I own a barbershop, and it requires a lot of time. A lot of work. So
I don't think I saw that anywhere, bro. Barbershop. So I'm sure you get to meet a lot of people that are in your same kind of world that way, bro.
Yeah, absolutely. Hip hop and barbershop, man, they go hand in hand.
I was gonna say barbershop, bro. That's what was that? Ice Cube, right?
Exactly. And yeah, I don't post much about it on my social media. I really don't know why, man. I've been under the impression that just focus on music, and then kind of been realizing lately that I got to be able to merge both together because it's a lifestyle. My business the culture. People come to one of my guys at the shop. Actually, he's like, he's so intellectual. He starts telling me, man, we're the curator. What's hot? What's trending? What good haircut? What's a good haircut? What goes good with this? He's like, everything goes hand in hand. And music, we're like the influencers of the culture, man.
And then you guys are like your own kind of therapist too, man. Every time I go to a barbershop, it's like one of those things where I'll just let some shit out. I would have never told somebody sometimes. I'm like, man, I don't know why I'm telling this guy this, but it's a very intimate setup for the 15, 20 minutes that you're there,
Hey, barbers are, getting a haircut is therapeutic, man. You go there, you feel better once you leave, and if you let some things out, they stay there,
Yeah.
So it's definitely a good place to be.
You're like the Dr. Loe Vale over here.
Yeah, man. So it's like I said, man, it's a lot of work, running the business and then also juggling music and really trying to make a name for yourself with it,
right. That's a lot of pressure, man, for sure.
Well, both require a lot of time. Both of them, like I gotta really put 100% in the barbershop. I gotta put 100% in the music. If I let go of one a little bit, it starts dying out. And the music industry today is so fast paced. It's about how much you could put out, how often. It's just a constant. Every week you got to put something out.
So in that same vein, bro, how do you write your lyrics? Are you like Jay-Z, man? Are they all up top, or do you have to write stuff down? You put them on an iPad? Like how do you get that flow going? Do you like to see the pen to paper and feel the stuff flow out of you like that?
Sometimes. Me and my boy, we recorded a song called "The Piece of Paper," and he still writes in his book. I don't write in the book as much. I do got some old books where I have a lot of lyrics written down, but for the most part, I'm just in my phone, man. In my phone, because again, I'm always on the go, so I don't have any time to like really sit down and go through and write and so I'm if I'm not in the shop, I'm in the car, and in the car is really where I write most of my lyrics, because I could just put a beat on and let it blast, and then just go to writing.
Dude, and that's the way to go, is in the car, because I have a long commute, dude. I do like 60 miles round trip, and that's where I'll listen to either podcasts or if I want to listen to a fresh album, bro. Like I put all your stuff on and I just started rolling through it one by one, and man, I'll tell you what, like I could feel so much more emotion, and I think you don't have distractions the way that you would if you're sitting at home, or a lot of people still just have the habit of picking your phone up even when you're listening to music or watching a movie. So I think a situation like that, you're just focused on it, man. And
yeah.
And speaking about your album, man, so amazing stuff that you have on there, and I see a lot of darkness, man. A lot of, not even darkness, but it seems like you went through a lot building that.
Which one did you hear? You heard the Glasshouse?
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Let me make sure. I don't want to misspeak here. I think it's the one that I found. I found you on Google Play.
Yeah.
Okay, let me make sure. Damn it, I had it written down too. This shows me not being prepared. Look at that.
It's all right, man. I put you on the spot.
Yeah. So yeah, this one was the Glasshouse. That's it. Yeah, 'cause that's the one you got up there, man. That one had all kinds of fire in it, man, and like so many different dichotomies, man. So talk to me about that album a little bit. What was some inspiration going into that?
Yeah, man. The Glasshouse, it represents transparency. That it just represents me being real. That's what it represents. Just the Glasshouse, transparency, being weak. Because if you throw a brick through that glass house, I mean, it's falling apart. And I think sometimes in hip hop we like to portray being hard and being the man, and like I'm untouchable and I don't have emotion, and with me, I just, in this project, I just want to pour my heart out. I just want to let people know where I come from, where I'm at, what I've been through, some things that I've dealt with. I mean, if you heard the song, it's called Den 08 and some numbers. That was actually my brother's inmate number. That was his.
Yeah. Okay, so that sounded like there was a lot of heart in there, man, because it's like you're waiting on him, right, to come back out. I mean, is he ever going to get out? Or is he still in?
Yeah, he got out already. He got out. He did 5 years. Damn. And it sucked, and people think that, he had it hard, and people that are in jail feel that they're in there alone, but in reality, your whole family's locked up, because the the stress of thinking, are you okay? Did something happen to you? Is it safe in there for you? It's just the everyday thing.
And you can't call and check on them, man. That's heavy.
I got to wait on your call, you know? So that was that song. Initially, I was going to title it Dear Brother, but I felt like it would be more real if I just put his actual inmate number on as the title. And so that's something that happened in my life. And my brother was my father figure, so picture my father figure being in jail. And then now I got to be the one to take care of him and provide for him and send him money and food and clothes and all that stuff. It was tough. The one prior to that, which is, what is it called? I don't even remember the name of my songs. I think is it Lord Forgive Me? From the soul, Lord Forgive Me.
Yeah, Lord Forgive Me. That's number 2.
Yeah, so that one is my story. It's actually my story, and I wrote that song back in 2009, 2010. I wrote that song, and I just released it last year. Just everything that happened, everything that you hear in that song is exactly what happened. From growing up in a broken home, to my brother going to jail, to my sister, doing her thing, and me using drugs and just suicidal, till I just called out to God, like, yo, man, I need some direction, So then my wife...
And I can see how you turn to God, man, because that's some heavy shit that you went through. It sounded like something that, that people don't... They usually need a doctor to get through that, but you ended up using hip-hop as your outlet.
Exactly, man. And then the song Am I Dreaming? That was a song that I wrote for my wife. I met her because of my grandmother. My grandmother lied to me, and she made me look like an ass because she's like, I know this girl that wants to talk to you. And I'm like, oh, yeah, where's she at? And she's like, yeah, look at her Facebook. And so this girl, my wife, her brother used to be married to my cousin.
Okay.
Right? So my grandmother was like, oh, yeah, your cousin's sister-in-law wants to talk to you. And so she showed it to me on Facebook, and I was like, all right, cool, we'll talk. So I sent her a friend request, and I'm like, hey, what's up? I heard you wanted to talk. And she was like, who are you? I'm like, oh, man. My grandmother set me up. So she happened to be in Spain at the time. She was living in Spain, and so we built a friendship through Skype, and we was just talking for like 6 or 7 months. And wow. And then one day I was like, you know what, man, I'm going to go visit her. And so I left. And I went over there for like 2 weeks. And I chilled with her and we hit it off, and then I went back another time a few months later to see her. And then almost 2 years into our like long distance relationship, she came out here and surprised me, and we just made it official. And we've been married 4 years now. Wow,
congrats, man. You couldn't even write something like that. Like that doesn't even sound like it's something that just happens, dude. That's cool.
Yeah. So it's all reality, And then the last song, Skeletons, is one of those things that, everybody got something that they deal with, that some things that we don't want to talk about, Yeah. So I started off with I dedicate the first verse to my wife, and letting her know that like I love you, but I'm not perfect, and there's struggles that I have, like the lust of a man, is something serious sometimes. And so that's not to say I did anything crazy, but, temptation is real. And so
especially in the world you live in, man. I mean, like you have people that are absolutely, I'm sure that you got women that are, giving you the what's up, you're on stage, you're in clubs, you're doing things at the hours where people are relaxing and they're not there to, they're not at work. They're there to relax and, hey, damn, that boy can spit bars.
That's why I don't travel alone, man. I travel with my good friend. He's like my brother. He's my drummer, and he is actually a youth pastor.
Wow.
So he's a youth pastor. So I travel with him. So
that's good, man. That keeps you on check right there.
Well, yeah, absolutely, man. So, but I tell her, that I in that verse, I tell her that, I know how precious what we have is, and I wouldn't do anything to jeopardize that, man. The second verse I dedicated to my mom and my sister and my brother, just reminding them that I love them, that I'm still here for them. And then the last one is to my father, who was never there, and to my kids, who I don't have yet. You know, so it was like a very personal. So I played it at a show, man, and by the time I got to the second verse, man, I'm just bawling. I'm bawling. And I'm like, wow. You know, I did it with so much passion because I'm passionate about it. You know, I'm passionate about my story. I'm passionate about what I do. And sometimes it just comes out of me. I was actually up in Full Sail on Thursday, and we were recording a video for a song that I have called Footsteps. And now that song was in my prior album, in my previous album, but I removed those projects from the internet. So you might be able to find them if you like really dig deep for them. But I'm gonna re-release some of those songs as a new project. And it's called Footsteps, and it's literally a song that I did for my father. And as I'm recording this video, man, like it's just one of those things that again it just comes out of me, and I'm crying and I'm angry, and the people that are shooting the video, the whole crew is crying, you know. So
that's genuine as hell, though, man. I mean, and that's something that you need to capture on the microphone because people, it's hard, like you said. There's so much commercialized hip hop, man. To hear somebody actually come up to the point where it makes you emotional because you believe in the words that you're saying.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, like. It's not a bunch of tricks and auto-tuners and shit. That's what hip-hop's about, man. That's what I like to hear.
Yeah, man. And that's what I'm going to keep doing, man. I'm just and I don't want to come off as this emotional, depressing rap.
Right.
But I have a story and everybody, and I'm sure that you got, you know, stories of yourself, of your life, where if you talk about them long enough, you're gonna get emotional too, you know.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Well, that touches somebody, though, man. You're touching somebody's heartstrings.
Absolutely, and that's what music is, man. Music, I believe, to be the one of the most influential pieces of art there is. You know, it sucks that it's not as it really the value of hip hop that it gives is not as much as visual art, right? So you could buy a Picasso for millions of dollars, and as time goes by, it just becomes more valuable. With hip hop, it's not about money. It's not. It's like you'll buy my EP for $5 or $6, but what it does in you will be a lifetime. You know what I mean? And so it's different. The value that hip hop brings is different. You know.
Well, I feel that way. I'll feel that way about an album, man. Like I'll want an emotion. Like I run every day almost, right? And like if I want, like I ran to your album, bro. Like of all, you know what I mean? Like I did 5 miles jamming out to Glasshouse, and it was the place that it put me, man. Like the miles just went by and I didn't even think about it, and I was just tuned into you and like your words and like your stories, you know what I mean? And that's something that, you know, in the future I'm going to be like, man, I want to hear that and feel that emotion, you know what I mean? Because it takes my mind to another place. It's almost like a meditation kind of a thing to me, you know what I mean? And that's how I am with music. So what do you got coming up? You're talking about extra projects, man. So what's the next thing in the works for Mr. Loe Vale?
Well, I have released when I was doing, like I said, when I was working with this network of Christian rappers, I released a project called Outdated, and it was a very long project, you know. And nowadays in the industry, man, it's pointless for you to take out anything that's more than 5 songs, you know, because I feel like people's attention span is just, you know, if they like one song, they'll listen to that one song, maybe 2 or 3, but it's very hard for you to get to people to listen to 16 songs, right? So I removed those projects from the internet, like I said, and I'm going to re-release like the last 4 or 5 songs that I did, because the first half of the album was very trappy, you know, and I can do trap, but it's not my essence, you know, it's not where I come from. It's not like, that's what I
like how you put that.
Yeah. And so, but the last portion of the album is very, you know, again, it's one of those feel good vibes, soulful, personal, you know, so it has different
aspects.
Yeah, different aspects of who I am too, you know, because like I could rap on anything, man. Like, that's what I was gonna say. Like I got the Glasshouse is personal, it's emotional, it's transparent, but I also got music to make your head nod. You know, you're just gonna be like, oh, man, yeah, you know. So I'm very versatile with music, you know. So I'm working on.
No, that's heavy.
Yeah, I'm gonna release that project first. I got a whole bunch of free content that I'm just going to be putting out on the internet. I'm just going to put it out on YouTube, Instagram. It'll be all over the web. But I'm working on a new EP, which I'm going to call it 5%. and it's just gonna make your head nod, man. That's just what it's about, you know. And it again about being transparent. One thing that we don't touch on is in hip hop. This is one of those things that I was telling my wife about this, and she's all for it. In hip hop, you know, it's so easy for dudes to brag about how many hoes they smash or how many girls they have. Here in this new project, I'm making reference to making love to my wife. Why? Because we're married and we're horny and we can do that. You know,
True.
Exactly. You know, so it's like I'm gonna brag about what's real to me. You understand what I'm saying? And I want to say that 5% of people actually do that. 5% of artists actually do keep it real. You know,
that's what J. Cole talks about in that one jam. He talks about getting in the bathtub with his wife, you know, and just that thing that you know you never hear rappers talk about is like being monogamous and being with your woman, and you know, so that shit that's heavy, man. I think that is going to create a whole nother niche. I mean, hip hop owns the platform of music now. I mean, that's what you hear on even in pop and, you know, metal. I mean, even in metal, like metal goes pop, hip hop, you know, there's all these mashups, and you know, in the 90s it wasn't so much, but now it's in almost every bit of, at least in American culture, but worldwide, you know. And I think that's going to be the next movement, is going to be this positive, you know, vibe kind of thing, because mumble rap, like you said, it's going away, man.
Like I said, that thing's not going to last more than 5 years, man. It won't last. You know, if you take a look at everything, you know, so the early 2000s, you know, you had a lot of T-Pain, you know, which is a great artist. T-Pain is an amazing singer, but he did the gimmick thing, you know, the crazy hats looking like Leprechaun and the funny voice thing, and then eventually that died out. Lil Jon and the East Side Boys, that whole crunk movement, everybody just crunk wilding and
too noisy.
You know, it lasted 3 years, 5 years, you know, but you don't hear that type of stuff no more. Mumble rap is the same thing. You're gonna have, you know, this wave for the last 2 years. It's been real heavy. It's been everywhere. In the next 2 years, it'll be gone.
No, that's heavy, man. Well, do you ever get pushback from your peers, man? Do you ever like when you know, granted, I kind of misspoke when I, put you in a box to call you a Christian rapper, but do you get peers, like you go to a club and I'm sure you got some of these, I call them tryhards, like they try super hard to like live in that, you know, that goofy hat and this, you know, this facade kind of thing. Do you get a lot of people that'll talk shit to you because you're not jumping into the easy game? You know what I mean? Like it's easy to be that way, I think.
Yeah. No, I've had actually opportunities present themselves, major opportunities, right? So, and they want me to do Spanish trap, you know, because I'm Colombian and trap is huge in Spanish, you know.
That's kind of cool, man. Spanish trap. I like the way that sounds.
and it's, bro, listen, it's a huge market. It's huge. Sure. It's freaking, like these niggas, they put out a song, and in 2 days it's got 500 million views. Like, wow. It's huge. It's crazy. Yeah. And so I had a client who worked for The Orchard, right? I think that was the name of it, The Orchard. And it's a company that bought out Sony. It's a distribution company. And so he's deep in his portfolio. He has all the stars, Nicky Jam. He had Ricky Martin. He had Shakira, you know, big names. And so he's like, hey, I'm going to introduce you to a producer. He introduced me to a producer. I went to his studio. We met, you know, and this guy, he's the one that produced Livin' La Vida Loca. He's the one that produced part of Shakira's hits. He was part of, you ever heard Flavor in Your Ear with Craig?
Yeah.
All right, he was that Big Pun, Still Not a Player. So he showed me the plaques. This guy is like the real deal. He showed me the plaques, you know, and so he's like, you know what, man, I think you should do Spanish trap. That's the way for you to go. And then and Sam's like, I don't know, it's not me. And he's like, no, but that's where the money's at. I'm like, yeah, but that's not me. And so he just kind of like pushed to the point that I got turned off. I'm like, bro, I'm not doing it. Like, I don't.
Yeah.
If I don't feel it, I'm not gonna do it. Now, granted, I've done Spanish records. I've done songs in Spanish, but because they like it came out. You know, my wife doesn't speak English, right? So I wrote a song for her in Spanish to let her know how I feel, and she loves it.
Ooh, I bet you got brownie points there.
Oh, absolutely. And so, you know, so people always telling me too, man, yo, man, do something with your hair, or yo, man, do something stupid, just troll. You know, they want you to troll the internet so you can go viral. So you go like, nah, I'm gonna be real, I'm gonna be me, and the people that can relate will relate. I'm gonna draw those people in. I don't care. I'm not trying to reach the masses. I'm trying to reach the people that need to hear me.
Well, and maybe dude had never heard you before, because like I feel like just in talking to you for 30-40 minutes here, dude, I've gotten I feel like I get that. I don't get a non-genuine vibe from you. So apparently he wasn't listening to you beforehand to know kind of what he was trying to, who he was pitching to. You know what I mean?
Well, he was focused on the money. That's what he.
Sure.
He made it very clear to me in our first meeting, because we had like 4 meetings. In the first meeting, he said, "You're either gonna do this because you love it, or you're gonna do this because of the money." And he told me, I do it for the check. He flat out told me, and I'm like, that's cool. Money's gonna come. The money.
Yeah. Well, he's honest. Shit.
No, yeah, I respect that, but I don't have to work with him. Like I heard who was it? Somebody, some older gentleman. I seen an interview on YouTube about him, and he mentioned Beyonce. He mentioned Whitney Houston. He said, "Do you think that these women got in the music business for money?" I'm like, hell no. These people got into music because of the passion.
Right.
The money and the fame and the fortune is just an extension of the passion. They didn't get in it thinking I'm going to be rich. If that's the motive, you're going to fail. You're going to fail, especially today, man, when you're getting like 0.0001 cent on 1/10 of a cent from a stream.
Right.
Like
Spotify.
You're going to have to build warehouses full of computers and put your stuff on repeat for you to see some money. So it's about passion, man. It's about the passion and the impact that you can have on the people,
Dude, that's huge, man.
Me, man.
So what is Omnigod? I don't mean to move. I don't want to move away from things too much. I don't know what that was. I saw that you're under this Omnigod.
When you mentioned it, I looked it up too, because I didn't even, to me, people have mentioned that, and I keep forgetting. So back when I was dealing with the Christian hip hop artists in the circle I was in, there was I was doing tours. I was doing tours in churches and outreaches and stuff. Again, I'm not ashamed of none of that. That's all part of my story. I was doing churches and getting crowds hype, and people were getting their lives touched, and it was amazing. It was a beautiful time, and I'm still down for that. I'm still down. I'm gonna go in there and I'm gonna rap, and I'm gonna do what I do, and I'm gonna do
what you do. Yeah,
exactly. And so there was a gentleman that he asked me if it was okay for this platform, Omnigod, which is actually based in UK, I think, to post my stuff. I said, yeah, man, whatever. Go ahead, man, put my stuff out there, man. The more people, the more places I'm at, the better it is for me at the end.
Oh yeah.
So
for sure.
I guess it's like one of those, I want to say like a website that promotes Christian rappers, right? Or believers that rap, you know what I mean?
That's what it looks like, yeah.
So I believe that's what it is. I never really went in there and like dabbled in. I just know that I was asked if I wanted to be in it. I was like, yeah, go ahead, man. So I've been featured on other platforms like Rapzilla. Not sure if you're familiar with him, but yeah. So Rapzilla is like the world star of Christian hip hop.
I was about to say that.
So I've been on a couple of those platforms as well. I've been on thisis50.com. I've been on Lunchtime Daily. I've been trying to get on World Star Hip Hop because I feel like that's a really big platform. So whatever platform is going to promote me or wants to post my stuff, I'm all for it,
Well, you're definitely going to be out on a Percher Birds Media for sure, man. And let me know when you got something coming up. That way I can put it out and maybe get, a little bit more hype for it. Past the podcast release, of course. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, man.
All I see is violence in the streets. Woo! Gotta grab my piece. But first, let me say my piece. I ask you, please give me strength. And pray to God I don't bend. Shots firing, I hear sirens. We've been wildin' on the block. Whole night again, though it might have been that we fighting sin in the dark. Oh my God. Why is he going so hard? Flowing so hard. So I gotta go hard in the paint. This for my people that locked in the pen. This for my people that stuck living evil, that don't know the sequel is on in the end. Blood, sweat, and payment, we tryna survive. Stuck in the system that's feeding us lies, so we get high and get right and get by, and then that's so hence why I came out of freedom was right. This life for mine I've been given. Can't stand the path that I cruise through. Headed straight for death, but I'm chillin'. Just stuck in sand that I'm used to. Tryna sober up all these feelings. So that green is lit and that brew is cool. But I face the same thing I've been in. When that high's low, man, I'm ridiculed. In this game of life, it feels like it's the ninth inning. Jesus gave his life. He gave his life. How the hell could I not be winning? I be praying like. Lord, protect me from those pretending. So my knees abandon, my soul surrendered. I know that this can be life.
All my soldiers, all my hitters, open your eyes. This ain't no game. They tryna kill us. Out in these streets, so many lies and so much evil. They think they won, but don't they know they can't defeat us? No, they can't defeat us. Yeah.
Hey, let's get to it. Attack this track with a mean flow. Gotta paint this up, gotta work that brush. Get the people something they ain't never seen, no. Let me paint this scene, no. Got a million rappers, got a million trappers. Spend most of your money to floss and look dapper. That's hustling backwards. You ain't no deep boy, stop lying to me, boy. I done been in that dojo, seen Bruce Lee, boy. You just Bruce Lee, boy. Without the glow, these suckers think they unstoppable, but what you spittin' ain't logical. You was in band class when them drums came out and the lights got low when the boys started riding slow. I know what you thinking, it's just entertainment, but I call it killing kids and asking for payment. No fancy words, I speak it in layman's. I call it killing kids and asking for payment.
All my soldiers, all my hitters, open your eyes. This ain't no game. They tryna kill us. Out in these streets, so many lies and so much evil. They think they won, but don't they know they can't defeat us? No, they can't defeat us. Yeah. They don't. Defeat us. No, they can't defeat us. Yeah. Defeat us. No, they can't defeat us. Defeat us. No, they can't defeat us. Defeat us. No, they can't defeat us. Defeat us.
All I see is violence in the streets.
I was thinking that the only other thing that we hadn't really gone over is like, what do you do to keep yourself like mind and body, your like your health and fitness kind of stuff, man? What do you do if you're running this hard schedule? You're running a business. You're also writing. You're trying to put these tracks down. I'm sure you're having to play shows at night. Like I'm sure you can run some crazy days. What do you do to keep yourself right? Like yoga, meditation, veganism, whatever.
I can't stand vegans. No, I'm playing. If any vegans listening, man, I'm just playing. I really just try to eat as healthy as possible, man. And work out. Not every day. There was a time where I was addicted to working out. Literally, I was at the gym 3 times a day.
Damn.
And this was a season.
It's better than heroin, though. I mean, 3 times a day with heroin or gym. I'm gonna.
I believe it. I was boxing. I was an amateur boxer. I was gonna go pro. So this time, this was about 6-7 years ago, and I was in the best shape of my life, man. I was 7% body fat. I was weighing 160 pounds. I was ripped up, in great shape. I was almost a vegetarian, kind of. I was a pescatarian. I would eat fish and a lot of vegetables.
Okay.
And then I got married. No. And so I just kind of like drifted from, I got hurt boxing. My wife wasn't too fond of the idea of me boxing, fighting and stuff. So
coming in black and blue every day. And, yeah, I could see that.
I actually had a match the day of my sister's wedding. So before the wedding, I go and I get hit with a nice hook. And I got a black and blue, and I got to walk my sister down the aisle.
Like, and I was at work. Y'all don't judge me. I was at work.
Yeah, man. I had to put some makeup on. So she wasn't too happy with the idea of it. So I just put it aside, and I thank God I did, because although it's a good thing, it wasn't the right thing. you know, and it was a distraction for me doing what I really love and what I'm passionate about. Since I was a kid, I was always passionate about hip hop, you know, and so I felt like for a season I was looking for something to do. You know, I wanted to do something. I couldn't put my finger on it, so I was going to be a tattoo artist. I was going to be a boxer. Then I started doing personal training. Then I went to school for cosmetology, you know, and I was just like dabbling in so many different things. Yeah. And then just when I said, no, I'm just going to focus on music. So I focused on music, and instantly doors start opening up. It was like they were waiting for me to just line myself up with my calling, you know, with my, it's like, yo, this is what you got to do, you know, and I stopped all that stuff, but I still go to the gym once a day. Now I'm going once a day, and I eat very healthy. I try to stay away from fried foods, and it's hard when you're in the studio though, man, because sometimes it's like you're hungry, it's late night, and you just like only the bad stuff is open.
Right.
Pizzas.
But man, you can't lie to me and tell me that Mama's not making some good food, bro. She's from Spain. All I hear is good things about the food in Spain. So I'm sure she gives you the stink eye when you bring in some funky American food. She's like, nope.
Exactly. No, it's true. She's Colombian. She's actually Colombian, but she was living in Spain, you know, and so she knows all the recipes. She knows all the recipes. So yeah, she be blessing me, man. She be blessing me. But she likes to stay in shape. She likes for me to stay in shape. She actually reminded me, like, yo, listen, man, that gut, you got to get that 6-pack back. I was like, yeah.
Right. That boxing 6-pack without the hits.
Yeah. So, yeah, no, I like to be in shape, man. I like to take care of myself, man. This body's a temple, and we only get one, so you got to take care of it, you know?
I love to hear that, man. Well, what kind of advice would you have for some youngster or anybody that's on the fence? They're trying to weed out of the 10 irons they got in the fire, you know, like if somebody's wanting to lean into hip-hop, what's some advice you could give somebody, man?
Man, I would say to be real. This is my advice every time. Just be real, be genuine, be transparent, be yourself, you know, and the people that are destined to hear you will hear you, you know, and they're going to listen, they're going to feel you, they're going to relate, and they're going to support you, man. So that's my advice, is to always just be yourself, man, be genuine. You know, don't follow trends, man. Don't be influenced by the culture. Focus on influencing the culture.
Right. Stay off of Facebook and go put some work in.
Exactly. Yeah, man. Yeah, social media is crazy, man. Social media today, man, it paints a very distorted picture of what life is, you know, what reality is. People will think that they got to be somebody or portray to be somebody on Facebook, on Instagram, you know, for those likes. It's crazy.
Right, catching those angles.
Yeah.
Catching those angles. You look so much different and happier when you're on social media rather than what's really going on. There's a lot of pain in life, and I think that you have to have that with that good shit in order for you to come out on top and actually come off as genuine, man.
Of course. Everybody loves that story, you know, the dude that was just going through the dirt and then just made it out on top, you know. So being genuine, being real, you know, showing the good times and the bad times, you know, just being straight up. Just be straight up, and people will appreciate that, man.
Well, shit, man. Lewis, I appreciate you talking to me, man, and that's why I had you on. You're definitely a person pursuing greatness, man, and that's,
thank you.
I mean, you attest to every bit of that, and I think this is going to be some inspiration for somebody, and I hope, if anything, man, hopefully it'll, you know, open another door for you maybe. Somebody will hear this and be like, damn, let's put this dude on. Let's put this dude on 3 albums now. You know, get that record deal.
Okay, man, I appreciate your time, man, and I appreciate you having me on your platform, man, for real.
For sure.
It's been a blessing, man.
Yeah, same here, man. All right, brother. You take it easy.
All right, man. Stay in touch.
Okay.
Peace.